Live, guys. We can do
Kitchen door, can't we?
Mike's hot.
Kitchen door, can't we? How are you? How are you? I am a princess, you are princess too. Tonight my daddy's on Chit Chat Talk. My dad's on Chit Chat Talk. Karen Counts. Hug. Help people. Kind. Beer. Cry. Guy and Patty are going to cook burgers at night. Patty, can you please teach my dad how to make amazing mac and cheese? My favorite mac and cheese in the whole wide world. I'm a little graduate. I'm so proud of me. I know my numbers and my ABC. I made lots of friends and have fun too. Now I'm off to big kid school. Ooh, no. Daddy will be home for mac and cheese.
Are we live? We're
Live.
live. We're live. It is Facebook Live. It is Wednesday night. It is 9 o'clock, and it is Chit Chat Chop. And this is going to be a mind-blowing episode. I'm just so excited. I can't believe it. Anyway, we have Besties. Patty's getting louder and louder. Turn your television down, Keith.
How's the volume?
How's the volume?
Volume
is it
good,
okay?
Elena?
Aline is on camera, so there may be some technical
almost yellow.
glitches,
Okay.
but we're good. We
She's doing
have
great.
confidence. Great.
She's doing great.
So, for those of you don't know, we are on episode
42.
42.
Yep.
And from day one, I have been trying to get this guy, who's usually over there on the other side of the camera,
Yep.
to come on this side of the camera and talk about all things awesome and besties and
Yeah.
just how this all happened and what you do and how awesome it is that you do what you do and how we love what you do. And you've said no, basically.
I said no until the time was right.
And the time is right.
Yeah, I
and
think
why
so.
is the time right?
Well, first of all, the time is right because we're doing a talk on Friday
Besties!
at Social Media Day Halifax.
It's gonna be awesome.
This Friday. That is about this
10:30
show.
a.m. Put it on your schedule.
It's about this show, and it's kind of where this started as an idea and went from. We're not getting into particulars because we're going to talk about it on Friday,
yeah.
but basically how it went from me holding the phone to this huge,
glorious
gigantic production
production
that we have right now. It's huge.
Huge. If you could only see all the crew that is here
It's crazy.
and the pre-makeup and hair that happened today. Yeah, totally. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say?
I don't know what you want to talk about.
I don't know. Do you want me to talk about myself first?
Yeah,
Because
so
I don't really talk about myself
you
much.
never talk about
But I
yourself.
should talk
which
about
this is
myself.
going to be great. I'm
Start
going to
myself.
learn something. So you have an amazing brand. I mean, I just have to say personally, this is my own little plug, which I didn't tell him about, but like,
Oh, don't make me
Caring
cry.
Counts and what Adam has done. Oh, stop it. For Kitchen Door and like all of the amazing things socially and also just personally, like forget the social, forget what we do online. What Adam has brought to me and to the team here is just,
Don't get me mushy.
I know,
Thank
you're
you.
crying in the first 5 minutes.
I'm mushy, and that's my
crying.
superpower,
But
empathy.
it's been amazing. Like,
Yeah.
it really has. You really are authentic in everything that you do and every thought that you have. And you have brought out the best in the team, and I'm super excited about that.
Look,
I
I'm
know,
already choking
he's
up.
crying,
Stop
he's
it.
choking
I'm not
up.
crying, but I get mushy. I feel it.
Anyway, so I'm thankful
Thank
for
you.
that. But you have built this brand, Caring Counts. And how did it start? Like, what's the whole deal?
So it's funny that
I have wine now.
about 2 days ago, it's pretty much the 5-year anniversary of the
Yeah.
beginning of it. Not when I actually had a logo, not when
I know,
actually
isn't
had
that
a brand.
crazy?
Yeah, so basically, I used to run a restaurant called the Red Stag in the Keys Brewery. I was one of the owners, lower deck and stuff. And the problem with the waterfront and the brewery is it's incredible in the summer, but very slow in the winter, right? So when social media came about, I realized like that's maybe an opportunity there. We got a Facebook page, started playing around with it. Then I read a book called The Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yep.
And I read this book, and it basically made me realize that social media was a way to reach out. It's basically this, but
Yeah.
with a screen in between. And you could use your interactions and your service and as your marketing. So what I did was, in learning this, I started using Twitter. Didn't know how to use Twitter very well. Some people still don't know how to use it very well.
I still don't know how to use Twitter.
But I started playing around with it, and there's this one person that always was helping me. Her name's Tina Capalbo. She's actually one of the
Good job on
organizers.
her last name, because I can't
All
say
right,
it.
Social Media Halifax, and I was like, I'm going to test out this theory that Gary Vaynerchuk has that you can really connect with people on social. So what I did was, I wanted to thank her for helping me out on Twitter. She didn't necessarily know she was helping me out a lot, but she really was, because she was giving me tips and engaging with me as the Red Stag at the time. So I went and I looked at her profile, and I went all the way down to find out that she was at at Great Big Sea concerts.
Who doesn't love Great
So I'm
Big
like,
Sea?
oh, okay, perfect. Corey Tedford, who's in Alan Doyle's band, played at the Red Stag. So I went to Corey and said, hey, do you mind like maybe getting a little poster or something signed by Alan that I could give to Tina to say thank you for engaging with me on Twitter? He said, sure. He comes back a week later with a CD signed by Alan Doyle.
Oh my gosh.
It says, cheers to Tina. So I emailed it to her, and I had her address because she had won a Facebook contest on our Facebook page. So I emailed it to her. About 5 days later, I get a...
Mailed it to her.
I mailed it, sorry. I mailed it to her.
I could email a CD
And,
very techy.
and about 5 days later, I get a tweet that basically says, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is unbelievable. And she says, thank you. And she probably messaged me and says, thank you. And I said, no, of course. I know you like Alan Doyle. And she goes, no, you don't understand what this means. I'm not going to get mushy, but it is mushy.
You're going to get mushy.
She says, this morning, I have this new business I've been working on. I hope I'm not being too forward there, Tina, if you're watching.
Tina loves it.
Loves it. She had this business, and it was like, you know, when you first start a business, you're trying. Capalbo.
She's here.
Yeah, and I said, and she said, today, it was to a point where it was either going to go one way or the other, and I said, give me a sign. And a knock comes on the door, and it's the Alan Doyle CD from Red Stag.
From Karen Counts.
But it wasn't Karen Counts at the time. It was just
Adam.
It was just this thing we were trying out. So from that point, it made me realize you can actually make an impact through social. You can make real relationships. So I went to the staff, created this thing about let's try to make our experiences in person with the customers. Let's make that our marketing. So they were
find out what you need to find out things, build a relationship.
But we're delivering stuff to people's hotel rooms, and we were doing some crazy stuff. And from there, it actually changed the way the staff interacted with each other. They were at the front of house, and we have chef, and potentially another chef here that understands that if you can get the front and back working together in a cohesive manner, it's magic, right? And it created this amazing
It's called the dream
culture. So fast forward to that, it actually got us in a book by Peter Shankman about our service. It actually, all this stuff happened, and I had a logo created because there was something going on. I didn't know what it was, and I left.
I love the logo.
I left to go and speak, talk about service and kindness and social media. And as that all progressed, I landed on this, which was how could I still help people and make it all about kindness and empathy and customer service, but actually be able to pay the bills.
Create a business model around it.
So Karen Counts is this box, and there's these fingers that come out of it, and this is one which is I help businesses. I get people to care so you can sell them shit.
That's a great tagline.
So, and the important thing
Pay
is
attention.
you have to be an ownership and have a culture like you have here, which is, I understand, like your staff go to war with you. They go to war for you. You love your customers.
They do go to war.
You care.
They fought a big war today.
Yes.
It was a big war.
So you care with it. So this is the type of people that I like to partner with that are just caring and unbelievable people. So that's my long story that
That's
I just.
a great story.
I try
love
to,
it.
I try to
you know
fast
what?
forward
You
it.
need to tell that, because that is really the foundation of what you do and the foundation of what we are trying to do and continue to do with the team. So good on you. So
All right, that's it.
we're making some food today. We're getting to the food, people. We're getting to the food. It was just Father's Day on the weekend. I was camping in a tent. I love camping in a tent. In a tent, and I'm 42 years old in a tent on a mattress. It's great. So I was camping on Father's Day, and we did lots of awesome things.
Yep.
And you had Father's Day, and it made you think of your dad.
My dad. And my dad loved to make his own special burgers, and it was his big thing. So it was going to be that or chunka.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, you have to hear this. He was texting me going, oh, we could either do burgers or chunka. And I was like, what is
What's
chunka? And he told
chunka?
me what chunka was, and my stomach
I'm
went.
scared.
So
Like,
it was either burgers or
so
chunka.
bad.
So chunka is.
No, listen.
This is the
listen.
true
You will,
story.
you will have
This
your
is a
stomach
true
split.
story.
I'm drinking.
Dad would on Sundays take everything from the fridge,
No.
leftovers, put it in a pot with salt, pepper, and onion
I think
salt,
it was everything.
and he would stir it in a pot, and it was called chunka. So I said, let's talk about chunka, and then you can talk about
You can talk
leftovers
about
and stuff.
leftovers. I'm like,
and you're
nope.
like,
Let's do
So-
burgers.
We're gonna do
I
burgers,
get,
everyone.
Like, leftover potatoes.
No, everything out. Onion, garlic, salt,
Chunka.
pepper, chunka. Even just the name of it, chunka. Like what?
Disgusting.
How did you come up with that name?
Because he's hilarious, and I don't know, he knew that it was awful, but my sister loved it. I messaged her and said, what do you want me to say about chunka? She says, it's awesome.
Oh.
It's
So we have decided to make burgers, and we've also decided to make mac and cheese. And why are we making mac and cheese?
Because my kids don't like our mac and cheese anymore because they say, bring home kitchen door mac and cheese. Except Sam, who doesn't really have standards. Sarah will get mad with that. He'll eat Kraft dinner, all that. But Bria will not eat any other mac and cheese but this.
It's awesome.
And
It's
it is
every
delicious.
Tuesday, Adam takes home mac and cheese when he comes in for
It's
our weekly
delicious.
visit. It's awesome. So I've already sort of whipped that up, but we're gonna sort of go through that recipe, and we're also
Yep.
gonna make some burgers. And so that moves to my next point. My next point is that I did my little research on my burgers, and then I found out that we were gonna have a special guest here today in the background, and I got a little nervous. I have to say, even though I'm a chef and I've made a lot of I make my burgers at home, and I'm pretty confident my kids like my burgers, but I was like, I gotta kick it up a notch. And then I was like, no, I don't. I just need to bring him on, and he's gonna teach us about burgers. So we have our dear friend, Chef Andrew Farrell here tonight. Come on! Woo-hoo!
Cheers!
You get right over.
Cheers!
Oh,
Cheers!
that's my
All right.
glasses down there. I'll
Oh,
share you
I'm
in a
glad
second.
I'm
Here.
I want to go on this
Cheers,
side.
cheers,
I'll get over
cheers.
here.
Cheers! Let's talk burgers.
Talking burgers. We're so excited. We're so very excited. I have a
My
lovely
friend.
Megaforce meat
My
grinder
friend.
here.
It's great.
Yes.
It's great.
It's little and lovely.
like a sewing machine for meat.
Sure, that's a great analogy. I love it. I love it. And so we sort of set you up with some basic ingredients
Great.
to make some burgers. We're going to grind our own meat. We're going to add some suet. Which,
So
Alina, what is
that?
suet?
Yeah, what is suet? I don't even know
Meat
what
fat.
it
Does
is.
she? She
Oh,
remembered.
she passes the test. She got
Alina
it.
was
What
like,
is
"What is suet?" It's just all the fat from the beef. So it's just pure beef fat.
Wow.
So you know what? You know what I think is a big disservice to us as individuals is the grocery stores have really gotten rid of medium ground beef.
It's a travesty. You got to add your own fat
Extra
back
lean.
in. You need
so
that
you gotta
extra
go buy the
moisture.
fat and add it in, right?
Yep.
So that's what normally you can buy that like in a cube or a block, and I
Yep.
couldn't find it today, so I did buy the pre-ground suet. But either way, we can do that. And then we got some fixings and some burger buns and mac and cheese, and so yes. Okay, questions. She's got questions. Oh my gosh, she's vibrating.
She's not. No, but we have a few people that just want to say Chunka saved my life.
Who's that? Tina? Yeah, true.
Hashtag Chunka saved my life.
Hashtag sewing machine for me, LOL.
Jordan said it was nice. It's nice to see Adam on the.
It
on
is.
the
Aw.
recording.
It is. We love having Adam on this side.
love being
He's
here in general.
not
Just
coming
in
back
general.
on this side for a long time.
Adam is my hero, Debbie Adams.
Oh, I love Debbie. Debbie's my
Right.
Fans.
Debbie.
Oh, there's a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Adam has a lot
Anita
of fans.
says he has a serious fanboy crush on Gary Vee, LOL.
He does.
Of course I do, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And Sarah says hello.
His wife. My wife. My wife. My
fat.
wife. My wife. Fat. Okay. So how? Okay. You make fabulous burgers.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
From I've eaten your burgers. They're pretty delicious. So what's in your burgers? Give us the secret.
The secret is to alter. I like to alter the meat as little as possible. You want the base of a burger is the meat. So you want to have that really good beefy flavor coming through. So I make the patty. Well, I'll show you as when we grind it, but I don't add salt or salt or pepper to the
you don't
meat.
add salt and pepper. He said no. It's like,
No,
what?
I do a really heavy burger spice on the outside layer, so you season it all on the side that you char. And we're gonna do it in a cast iron today. You can barbecue these at home, but we got a little cast iron here warming up, ready to go.
And if you do it at home on a barbecue and you add the extra fat in, you're going to get a lot of flare-ups, right? Whereas
Yep.
in a cast iron, you're not going to get that. All that fat is going to sort of sit at the bottom
Exactly,
and
and
help sort
cast
of
iron will
baste
actually
and
give you a beautiful crust.
crust. I know, I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Gotta
want
get
one of
that
those
crust.
like weights that you put down. We need to get-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
we need to- We'll get one of those. Okay, so here, you get over here. You're cooking.
What
It's
am
your
I
show.
cooking?
All right, let's grind
You
some
and
meat.
Andrew, come
All right,
on.
let's do this.
All right, so we're gonna freeform our meat to fat ratio here. I
Okay.
want to do at least, I think 20% fat to 80% meat is probably a good way to go.
Okay.
So I don't know, how do you turn this thing on?
Let's see.
All right. The sewing machine works.
It's loud. We're going to be very loud, but Maddie can talk over it.
There we go. So I'm going to sort of do a little mix just on the top here.
Okay.
So,
I don't watch this.
yeah, so we'll watch this come out the end here. And oh, we got a little plunger. Perfect. Nice. Perfect. So you can see the fat is getting all mixed up with the meat in here, and that's what we want. Just a nice mix of all of that.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
See, you don't get that from the grocery store.
It's like a steak burger.
Gosh. So a little more fat, a little more meat, keeping that mix.
Love it.
Awesome.
It looks delicious.
And it's all super cold too. That's the key. If you want to get a great texture to the meat, make sure you chill it first. All right. How many burgers do you want to make? I don't know.
Burgers? 2, 3 burgers? And you don't have to grind it all.
Yeah, so I think we've probably got our meat here.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, look at her dance. All right.
So
You
this
ready
looks
to hear
like we're
any
gonna
of that?
So that meat is awesome. So we got the fat mixed in there.
Yeah, just in case you couldn't hear it. You,
Oh, yeah.
you
I'm
did
gonna
chunk
take
and
this
then you
away.
did suet.
Yeah, so I did chunk
chunk.
and suet, about 80% meat to about 20% of suet, because this was really lean to start with. So got all that fat mixed in with the meat, so it's going to be super moist when it hits the cast iron in this case. So, you know, normally in a restaurant scenario, I weigh them out for consistency. We're just going to freeform it. Why don't you make one, I'll make one, and then we'll just
Okay.
sort of make a
So
good...
are you a flat burger or do you like a big ball?
I start with a very loose ball like this.
Yeah. So should I-
The idea, yeah, so I did that if I were you. And the idea is we want to manipulate the meat with the heat of our hands as little as possible.
Oh, okay.
So this will keep, so when you bite into it, it'll pull apart and it'll be that juicy, delicious burger. I got a very generous burger here. I'm going to take a little bit off. So I'll smooth this aside so we can see. So yeah, so I've just loosely packed
Good
it like
job,
this.
Adam.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Too
And
bad.
then flatten it down like that. And then I'm just going to go loosely around the sides. Just sort of shape it up into a nice...
So you don't do that whole like, and then like, no.
Just like that.
The way, think of like the ground meat as a bunch of, strings, right?
Yeah.
So if you, make a big ball of string,
Yeah.
and then this is where the analogy goes off the rails because I'm talking about, frying a big ball of string. That's not going to work. Anyway,
But I understand what you mean.
imagine like all these little strands tighten up when they hit the pan. You end up with these softball burgers, I call them, where they get big in the middle, and that's one thing that we're trying to avoid here with no salt or pepper in the meat. I mean, I'm not against it if you want to do that at home, but I feel this gives you that great loose burger texture. I've had a lot of burgers, so I sort of worked it out
Yeah.
a little bit. So I think the next step we should do
It
now.
almost looks
Am I
like
a
you
little
used a
thick? Am I a little
Reynolds.
Yeah, well, in general, yes, but the burger
But
looks
fair
fine.
enough. Hey, hey.
Oh, you opened the door for me.
Okay,
man.
I did. Sorry,
Yeah.
Steve Nash here. Yeah.
That's all right. So we're gonna take, this is the kitchen door burger. What is it?
Barbecue spice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the idea is this is gonna be
Wow, really heavy. Good for you.
really heavy
I
because there's
love
no
it.
seasoning in the meat at all. So this is probably what, about 20% salt maybe?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
so
definitely.
this is not just all salt. This is all kinds of flavor going in here. There's a little bit of
There's some cayenne. We've got.
a lot of love
There's a
going
lot
in
of
that
love
burger,
going in that
man.
burger.
All
Cumin.
right.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
so this we pat into the outside, and then just flip it over. So just be careful.
Yep.
Gentle, gentle.
So gentle, both hands. Flip it over. Awesome. And then again, hit it with that burger spice, and then I'll do the.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Bang.
babe.
There we go. Pat that down. And normally, like in this case, I put this in the fridge for maybe a half hour because we're live on Facebook.
Yes.
We're just gonna go right to the
We're
pan
gonna go
with
right to
this.
the pan.
Yep.
But if it chills, then you get that perfect burger shape all the way through. And like I
Okay.
said, it's not gonna softball. So
Yep.
I'm gonna make
And
sure.
one of the
pan-
cool things, if you grind your own meat at home, you can actually cook your burger rare, medium rare, which you cannot do with pre-ground meat because you've taken all the contaminants on the outside of the meat and exterior, and you've then ground it in, and they've sat in the inside all through the meat, right? So all your bacteria now is spread against ground meat, but
Yep.
because you've just done this, it's just like eating steak.
Exactly.
Exactly like eating steak. And so you can have that nice, juicy, slightly pink or
Yep.
pinkish burger, however you like your burger, and
Yep.
it's great.
Interesting.
Interesting,
I like
isn't
it.
it?
I
All
like
the
it.
things you're
I
learning
like it.
tonight.
I know.
All right, so I'm
All
getting
right.
our pan hot over here, so that'll probably take a minute or two before I want to
Okay.
put the burgers, and I want to get it.
You
nice
go wash your
medium
hands.
high heat.
Get off. Get off.
We're gonna wash our hands.
Are you guys
I'm
chat.
gonna stand here and
Talk
chat.
about yourself. I'll check.
So, very good job. Very good job. We're gonna make mac and cheese, the kitchen door mac and cheese, which is super, super really simple. I hate giving away secrets, but you can always buy it in the shop. always, always, always. So I actually made shells tonight, but you could use your pasta, any pasta of your liking, but something small. I like shells because they capture all of the cheesy goodness in them. You can do bigger shells too, but I tend to like that. So all I've done is blanch this for, cooked it for 4 or 5 minutes. So it's super al dente. If you were to bite into this,
It's not necessarily edible.
no, I wouldn't. This would not be a finished product. But by the time you add the sauce into it, it's going to absorb. All that pasta is going to absorb the sauce, and it's going to continue to cook. And it's not going to turn to mush. If you cook this fully, and it was basically ready for service, and then you baked it for 20, 25 minutes in a mac and cheese, it's going to be mush. And so you want a little bit of texture in it. Come back on. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Okay, well, we just
Right.
had a couple, like,
Comments? I got to get a bowl.
Tina says, ask Adam about the time he's sent pizzas to Gary V's people in New York.
Oh.
I did send pizza. I sent. Do you know Gary Vaynerchuk? Do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is?
Gary V.
Gary V.
I don't.
You must see these things go through Facebook and stuff like hustle, hustle, hustle.
Oh,
that guy.
okay. Yep.
That's
Yep.
Anyways, he was releasing a book 3 books ago, and I knew he was going live on his birthday, so I wanted to, thank him for inspiring me and stuff. So I called his VaynerMedia, which is his marketing company in New York. He has about 500 staff at the time, and I said, hey, I want to deliver. Can I do pizzas when he's live on air? So I delivered 10 pizzas. So he's on air, talking about his books and da da da, and he's there, and they're knocking on the door behind him, and he's like, guys, I'm live, and he shows up with 10 pizzas anyway. So
That's pretty cool.
it was pretty interesting. It's pretty
That's
entertaining.
definitely a memorable
It was
moment.
That's the main thing about Adam. He's always thinking where nobody else is. You're always like,
I was just.
no, you are though. You're always thinking that way, and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Like, that's a great idea.
I just want to see. It's more to see if I could possibly do it. I wonder if I could actually do this, and then.
And then you do it.
It's good for
Well,
life.
and look at us in the day-to-day business. That's like the last thing on our
No,
minds,
because we're
right?
we're in the war
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah.
We're not thinking about this, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
And we have a whole neighbor of yours saying hello. This is Fraser.
Oh, hey, Darlene, what's up? How you doing?
I love it.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so I'm just buttering this just like
So,
Grandma.
did I miss a
would've.
secret? Did I miss a secret?
Not yet.
Secret of
No,
this
I'm
yet?
telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you. Just calm down. Oh, look, I have a
Sorry.
hair on me. I don't want the hair in the mac.
Jeez.
Okay, so buttered a nice pan just like Grandma would with butter, and she would have saved the foil liners of her butter in her little butter thing, and then
Yep.
when she needs to butter a pan, she would
Every
have pulled it
little
out.
bit.
Yep.
Every little bit counts. Thrifty.
right.
So we're gonna take our mac and cheese. So we're gonna take our pasta that I've par cooked.
Yep.
And what did I not do to this? Do you remember
You
from?
didn't put cold water.
I didn't rinse it. And why didn't I rinse it?
Did you
Adam
want to keep
Purcell?
Didn't you want to keep the starch and stuff? Like
Starch and the salt, right?
And the
Because
salt.
why bother salting pasta if you're going to take it and put it under a tab and rinse all the salt away, right?
Yep.
And all the starch, just to cool it. So
you
if
put
you,
a little oil on it. Didn't
yeah,
you?
so I cook it just pre al dente.
Yep.
I can picture my executive chef from my co-op days saying, "Patricia, do not rinse the pasta." That was what he used to say to me. But literally, you would take it out with a spider, or you would drain it in a colander and then
Yep.
dump it immediately on sheet trays. Put a little canola oil in it, rub it around, and then put it on the sheet and let it cool. And all of that salty goodness would stay there, and all that starch would stay there, which is really important with pasta.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna add that in, and then we're gonna add our secret sauce. And what's in our secret sauce?
I don't know. Actually, I think you told me before.
Did I tell you?
Did you tell me it starts with a V? No.
No, but you know what? I think Adam's secret mac and cheese sauce
Andrew's?
starts with a V.
What?
Sorry, what did I say?
Andrew. Adam.
Adam? I said Adam.
Hey.
I meant Adam.
I see
Andrew.
My
Yeah,
secret
yeah.
sauce
Yeah,
is
the V.
like I'm the kitchen door and buy my
Obviously,
mac and
there's-
cheese. That's
Two
my
hands
secret
of
sauce.
devils.
Yeah. So in ours, we have a roux, so equal parts of butter and flour cooked off. Do you need? They're flagging. I'm looking like I need questions. So equal parts flour and butter cooked off, nice sandy, wet kind of. You want to cook it down for a couple of minutes, cook all that starch out, and then you're going to add. We use whole milk, and that's in there. So in this,
Smells
this is
good.
probably half a cup of butter, half a cup of flour, roughly, and maybe 3 cups of milk.
Okay.
Bring that up just to a slight simmer, so it thickens up. It's going to take 3 to 5 minutes, and then we put in our goodness, which is our local white cheddar.
Local white cheddar.
Local white cheddar. You could use white cheddar, but local is better. And our cream cheese.
Andrew would agree.
Cream
I
cheese.
completely agree.
Cream cheese is the secret.
Really?
And in your world, you use Velveeta.
Velveeta. Excuse me.
Which I have a chef friend, Kim, in New Jersey, who's part of my catering group. And she does these little mac and cheese bites, and we all went. And she handed them out. And I was like, oh my God, what is in this mac and cheese bite? And she's like, I'm not telling you. And it was Velveeta. She puts a little tiny cube in the middle. She says, I don't care. It's delicious.
It's a cheese It's a cheesy cheese enhancer.
Answer. Yes, exactly.
Oh, man.
So we're cream cheese and cheddar, but you could use yellow cheddar. You could use, you could do smoked Gouda. You could do sky's the limit. You could
a little
do
bit
whatever.
of blue cheese. You can have a symphony of cheese. In there.
Symphony of cheeses. So all we're gonna do is pour this nice hot sauce, cheesy sauce that Patty made, and I made it extra cheesy because I know Adam likes extra cheesy mac and cheese, or his children do.
I do it so do the kids. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
Of course.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. I'm going to get these burgers.
Get them
pan
on.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
good. Yep.
You're on.
That's going to be happening in the background here.
Perfect. And we're just gonna stir this up. So as you can see when you're doing this, it's super, like I put a lot of sauce in because I want it extra cheesy for you, Adam, because
Gosh, seriously.
it's super, and you're gonna take this home because the magic of television,
that
this
camera.
isn't gonna cook.
Yep.
Oh yeah, hand it over.
Hand it over. You can press the button.
Extra cheesy, look at that goodness.
Oh my gracious.
Luscious. Look how smooth that sauce is. It's like Patty knew what she was doing.
It smells delicious.
Yeah.
And we got it over here. Tell me
I'll
if
go
they can-
over there, yeah.
See what's going on here.
All right, we got the burger smoke happening.
Burger smoke.
Burger smoke.
The hood is on, we're good.
The hood is on. We're all good.
So, do you press burgers?
I would press it. There's a yes and no thing to it. I will press a burger if it's designed to be a smash burger, which is the style of burger where you put a ball of meat in your cast iron, wait about 60 seconds, and then push it down. That's like Shake Shack style
yeah,
or
Shake
smash
Shack style.
burger. That's where my burger obsession came from, was the smash burger and those kind of burgers, because you get extra
Very cool.
caramelization, extra crust on the burger. So cast iron is great for that even high heat.
Yep.
So you can see already in the pan we've got the meat is cooked part way up, and that's what we're looking for. I don't want to move it too much until we get that nice seal, and then we're going to finish it in the oven, probably about 4 or 5 minutes, just to cook the doneness to what we want. If you do it in the pan all the way, it might be a bit too high of the heat. So yeah, I'm going to actually.
I'm gonna
Let's attempt it. I think I got a decent crust on one here. Oh yeah. There we go. So that's a nice sear. That's perfect. And that's that barbecue spice, giving us some of that Cajun style blackening that we want. That's actually great flavor right there.
Can you hear this?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why cast iron?
Cast iron retains the heat. That's the best thing about cast iron, is you've got, basically it's got one of the highest heat retention properties of all metal pans that you can use. So you put something in the pan, it's not going to drop the heat. You're not going to
No,
lose that heat. You're
it's
going
true.
to keep your crust going.
Okay.
And cast iron is just it. It's the bomb. I do everything in cast iron other than fried eggs. Even though I have friends that do fried eggs in cast iron. Like good crispy potatoes, good bacon. It's awesome. It just continues to season. So, I know. Yummy, huh? So we've got our sauce, which we've made, seasoned salt and pepper. And then we put our shells in.
Okay.
Then we're going to just top it with cheese.
Cheese it up, baby.
Cheese it up. Cheese it up.
Someone asked what the secret ingredient was, and they said nutmeg, and I said, really, it's just simple.
No, I don't use nutmeg. You can use nutmeg. That's a very classic bechamel white sauce. Nutmeg would be a garnish.
I've used Dijon mustard, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
If you want a little spicy, sriracha goes great in the base of
Yeah.
it. And then if I use sriracha, I usually use a little bit of cracked pepper too, so it just makes the whole pepper flavor more prominent.
But we sell, this is probably our number one frozen item.
Stuff there with shepherd's pie and chicken pot.
It is. But I mean, we have people that come in and buy like 5 or 6 of these at a time and just stock their freezer, right? So it's easy, it's great for the kids, it's a super simple size. So we don't, even though we would love to do the sriracha, like we would do that for events and
Yeah,
things,
totally.
but from a shop perspective, we kind of keep it neutral so that
You
it
just
feels
slap the sriracha on.
as Ginger would.
Yeah.
She'd have it all over. All right, so then we're just gonna pop it in the oven. 25 minutes, 30 minutes. You want a good little crust on it.
Yep.
Really, all you're doing is getting that bubbly goodness on the top.
And does this recipe come from you, or is this from mines over the years that have been here? Or is this your recipe?
No, if it was my recipe, I would probably have more cheese in it. But I go a little overboard when it comes to.
All you need is cheese, though.
All you need is cheese,
Yes.
but I would
Yeah.
probably have 3 or
Yeah.
4 different kinds of cheeses. But this has developed into a really great recipe for us, a great staple.
Yeah.
So it came out of us, but I mean, it certainly has evolved through the people that have
Okay.
worked for us in the team, and we've tweaked a little bit here. I mean, when we make it in a tilt skillet, which is behind this pink sign. But I mean, we make it, I don't know, 4 cases at a time, 5 cases at a time of macaroni, 20-pound cases of macaroni. So you're making 100 pounds of cooked mac and cheese at a time. I mean, it's a big seller, and
It's a lot of
certainly
cheese.
for event, it's a lot of cheese,
It's
it's a lot of
delicious.
bechamel, it's a lot of everything. Yeah, so we're gonna pop this in the oven, and we're gonna check on the burgers.
Well, speaking of popping them in the oven, we're about to take these and just put them on. I would put the cast iron in the oven, but I don't want it to smoke too much, so I'm just going to move it to another tray, just 2 little
Awesome.
sizzle pans here. And then they'll go in the
All the
oven for
lingo.
probably 3 or 4 minutes and be
And be done.
good. And because we put them right in the cast iron and let them sit, now they form that crust and now they'll release. That's the great thing about cooking at a high heat and getting that crust is they'll now come off nice and easy. I'm gonna block the camera just to make sure they do come off nice
Yeah.
and easy.
All right,
Oh
so
my
what
gosh.
else?
Well, what else? I don't know. So Friday,
Friday we're talking
we're doing our talk.
on
so
stage.
it's like we said before. It's
Hattie and Adam.
what's really cool. Again, talk about myself for 2 seconds. Is that the first person I did care accounts thing with, and it wasn't that at the time, was Tina. The first person to ever make me think I knew even a little bit about social media was Anita, who's the other.
Okay, yeah.
She actually invited me to,
Another founder.
be on a 3-person panel to talk about social. And I'm like, why do you want me up there? And she said, because you're kind of doing things differently. So
You
again,
do
it's-
things
but
differently,
it's pretty,
just like me.
I think it's pretty cool to tie things around, and I'm grateful that that I'm able to be part of it, and that my bestie can come and we can make it a good time, right?
Yeah, because we're getting a little piece of the speech is that, we talk about marketing, and so marketing for me was always like, when I thought about the word, I thought about, oh my gosh, that's so expensive. I'm not going to go there. Like, I can't. Like, as a small business owner, when you're in your business, that is something you can't even really think about. And we've been fortunate in Kitchen Door that it's a lot of word of mouth and a lot of just, just natural kind of stuff. We've never spent a lot of money on marketing. And so when you came in the office and we connected, I was like, okay, no, I think I can do this. And our thing has always been, marketing has been fun. And I have to say, the last year in this relationship, in what we're doing, even for the staff, even though sometimes Alina in the morning when Adam comes in is like,
Every Tuesday, I'm
Adam's
like, I
here.
need to shower.
but I need to shower. Oh, that's her thought. I need to shower. Alina, you need a better.
Yeah, you should shower more than once a week.
Robin says the same too, so I'm just
But
putting
you,
that
but you have fun though. Like
no,
we
it's
found
fun.
some.
We really enjoy the musically video.
The music, I was going to say, you've really found your niche with Musically and some of the
Yes.
fun stuff you're doing. But this always goes back to our point, is that this should just be fun. Like, you shouldn't have to think about it. Like, you should be able to come and just engage and talk about who we are and what we are. And
No poster boards.
No, and
there's
the,
no, like, oh, I've got to think about what am I going to say and what am I going to do. No.
and like we're gonna say, is the beginning of the show, the first minute and a half of the pre-show was my kids, and I'm so proud of my kids. If you have kids in your
Kids
family,
are awesome.
you
So
want
are
to show
mine.
them off. So if you own a business, shouldn't you be so proud and so
Yeah.
happy, and it should be
Yes.
so fun to share it? Fine, it might not be live, it might not be a live show, but it might be. Find a way that is part of your skill set to show off your business and have some fun with it for
Yeah,
sakes, right?
exactly.
Anyways,
exactly.
that's it. Let's eat burgers.
Eating
All
burgers.
right, I see there's extra cheese over there.
Extra
Let's
cheese.
throw them on the burgers.
Throw them on the
Yeah,
burgers.
more questions.
Throw them on the burgers.
And can't wait for Friday.
We can't
Either
them.
can we.
We've got.
Where's it?
There's some cheese jokes going back and
Like
forth.
what?
Yes,
Sorry.
hashtag
I'm
Are
not-
you flossing?
I was gonna try to, but I didn't.
Yes.
I can't do it either. Okay.
I can't do it. Megan McDonald.
No, I can't do it.
Megan McDonald says hi, Andrew.
Oh, hi. How you doing? I'll see
I
you
just
later.
lost on Chit Chat.
No, my son can do it really. There's a whole technique to it. So what is
Swing
it,
the other way.
Alina?
You swing the other way, yeah, and then this is.
Oh, I-
yeah, you got it. Yeah.
But my son can do like.
You gotta start slow
And I'm
and work
like,
up to that. Yeah.
yeah. But they floss all the time. Like he stands in the kitchen, he's talking to me, and he's just flossing. I'm like, can you stop doing that, please? Yeah.
So Tina wants to know, and it's probably from a little bit before, but how do you avoid scalding or burning the cheese when you're melting it down?
Okay.
In the mac and cheese?
Yeah.
Oh, so you never let it go, like it's always on low heat. So the only time you're sort of at medium heat is when you're cooking that roux out. And then usually what I do at that point is I turn it off, I add my milk, I whisk, and then I turn it back on low. And I let it go. And that's why it might take 3 to 6 or 8 minutes to get that milk up to temp and thicken up that sauce. But by the time you add your cheese, you can really pull that off the burner if your milk solution is hot, and then add your cheese in and just whisk it and it'll melt out.
And speaking from experience, if you scorch a 20-liter batch of mac and cheese sauce,
Dinah.
you're gonna cry. It's just, it's not good.
It's very painful.
Yeah.
It's like scorching a 20-liter batch of seafood chowder.
Oh yeah.
And it
no.
affects the entire
That happens.
flavor of the entire batch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll go through
Well,
the whole
it's tossed.
thing. Yeah.
You have to go.
Yeah.
And then people say, oh no, don't stir it. Don't scrape the bottom. Just pour it out. No, it doesn't matter. It still tastes
You can still.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
ass. It tastes
Toast
awful.
or not to toast the buns?
Oh no.
I'm glad you asked. I've got the pan going
That's
right
smelly.
here. It's a little bit too hot, so I'm gonna turn it back off.
It's a little smoky.
Gonna use the residual heat in the pan. But I am a big fan of toasting the bun, especially like barbecue season. I really like, that top rack on the barbecue.
I know. Post them right up
Perfect.
there.
That today with
It's
hot dogs.
perfect.
Isn't that perfect? My husband's like, no, you don't eat your buns toasted. And I'm like, I need my buns toasted.
You got it, and a little bit of butter goes a long way on
It
a
does,
burger bun.
it does.
It just I mean, it comes from a cow. We're cooking a cow.
Yep.
There's a lot of logic there.
It's
A
so
lot of
much
logic.
fun.
A lot of
And you
logic.
really impressed me today with these potato rolls.
I know.
I had no idea you could get potato rolls around here.
I know. And look at that. Look at that.
This is
little-
what we look for. Look at the bubble
These
structure.
are our friends at Sobeys.
Yeah.
They are. They
Yeah,
are.
they
Thank
do
you,
some
Sobeys.
Great in-house goods.
They do,
Thank
you know,
you.
they're in-house bakery products. They've done an exceptional job. We have been using their Red Island potato bread. Have to be careful because
Yeah.
it has a. We've been using that for a couple of years now, and it is the only bread that we have found in all of our wholesale and all of our
research.
and we have tried like a million bakery products that can go from the fridge cold. And in catering, we make sandwiches at 5, 6 a.m. and they get delivered for lunch, right? So they need to hold in a fridge, and it's hard. Some breads don't do well in that environment. So you can come in the shop and buy this bread, and it's delicious. It's soft and yummy. It's not stale and hard. So.
And some of my favorite Shake Shack in the States.
Oh, yeah, I love Shake
I
Shack.
keep going back to Shake Shack, but they use Martin's potato rolls, which
You
we
can't
get
get
in
here.
Canada.
I know, it's very
Tried.
sad. Or the
Definitely
Hawaiian
tried.
potato roll. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what this is. So I've got the residual heat in the pan here. I'm just going to stick the buttered buns on
Awesome.
and let them go.
Man, I'm
And,
excited.
and I, by the magic of television, which is a totally different dish, so it's not very magical, just so I'm
It
showing
shrunk.
you. It shrunk to a black dish. This is kitchen.
Ta-da.
Doesn't that look like the dish I put in the oven? Doesn't it just look epically awesome?
It's like those
Yeah,
shrinky
yeah,
dinks you
that's
used to
what
get
I-
to
and
put
I'll
in
play
there.
around
Yeah,
with
yeah. It's the exact same thing. It's made out of shrinky dink material.
Yes, so.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those burgers.
Oh,
Look
we
at
got
that
melted
mac and
cheese.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
Ready?
Ooh, yeah, we're in.
Oh.
Whoa!
And this is.
I know.
That's
This
still
is-
delicious.
It is
That's
still
crazy.
totally delicious.
Yeah.
Totally delicious. All right, this is gonna be. I'm very excited about this.
All right, Adam, what do you want on your burger? Let's get set
honestly,
here.
like I'm a mustard relish
Yeah.
pickles guy, but I'm so open to your burger. You like our burger connoisseur, the making variety.
I've gone all around the world doing burgers and
Yep.
it's not leaving the kitchen. So, you know, I've done a Thai-inspired burger, I've done a Korean-inspired burger, Greeks. Anything works on a burger. That's
Yep.
the great thing. As long as you try to get that crunch, you try to get that little bit of acid, a little bit of sweetness, all these things that sort of complement what's going on with the beef. So we got our nice cheddar in there. We've got
Yep.
we got pickled onions here. We got some nice pickles. We got tomatoes, ketchup, mustard. Great. Let's put it all on.
Put it all on, and I will
do it.
ask. So, as someone that has done lots of burgers, and he said everything works on a burger. Is there something that does not work on a burger that you did? You're like, that was gross.
That's an excellent question. But I've even put peanut butter on burgers. Like,
Those are good.
like they're
Yes.
good. I've made a Thai peanut sauce version of it, which I really like. It's
Okay,
got that,
okay.
because it's got a little bit of that funk going on, and it sort of subs in for the mouthfeel of cheese.
We left the door
We left
open
the
for the
door open.
brie.
Well,
That's why
yeah,
we have
there we
to.
go. We've got these big lights still. You know,
It's warm in here.
yeah, it's a little warm. It's fine. Burger season.
It's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
It's like we're barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, let's get these burgers.
Let's do it. Oh, stop it.
That's what we're talking about.
This is
Can we
ridiculous.
talk about like the temp in the burgers?
Oh.
maybe?
Well, no, so.
I know that you can't do it in Canada. They got
Well,
No,
but-
you can.
yeah.
If you grind your own, you can.
okay.
yeah.
Which is what we
Let's
talked
talk
And
about
where,
that for
where
one
I've worked
minute.
before, this is exactly how we sort of approach it. We'd get whole cuts in, grind our own, and then you can cook it to temp. You can sort of you can cook it like.
Did not know that.
The big concern is is the bacteria that could be ground into the middle of the meat. So if you control that process, you can cook it like a steak.
Which is you're grounding it in house immediately,
gosh,
pretty much producing.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah,
grinding
exactly.
and your ground meat sits for 5 days, 10 days, 20 days in a tube, all that bacteria is now across all
Yeah,
the meat, right?
it's all-
Whereas
Every little
here,
bit of surface.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's not.
exactly. Oh, buns.
buns. You got a bun?
There we go. So these look, these are nice and soft. We've got little bits of leftover burger. That's perfect.
And you did butter on that.
So
He
you got a
buttered
little bit
them
of
all
butter,
up.
and they're super
They look
squishy now
delicious.
just from that heat.
Oh,
So the
those
butter's
are,
on there.
I love
And you don't need to go
soft
super
buns.
dark with like the toasting of it. You just want to melt it and get that top layer.
I'm
Because
with
you
you.
want it to be supple. You want to just have that yield.
Supple. Use the word supple.
I know.
Supple. It's a great
Supple.
word.
I love
Don't
it.
use it in the wrong context, but in the right context, it is a fantastic word.
Willie's down in Maryland right now. He says hello.
Oh, hi, Willie. Love Willie.
All right.
All right, what are we doing?
So I'm going to. We got to build it for structure. You know, you want to think of the science of how you eat the burger. Structure. So we got the cheese on the top here, so that's fine. I'm going to put a little bit of ketchup on the bottom. We don't, not too much, because then you want your burger to slide off and you sort of have that thing. So I like. To
I hate slidey burgers when you bite into it and it goes
It's
on
no
the
fun.
other side. No, I agree
It's
with you. No fun at all.
No fun. So if you think about it, when you eat a burger, your tongue's gonna hit the ketchup first. So I've seen people put the cheese on the bottom and everything. I like a little bit of ketchup on the bottom, and then I'm gonna put my mustard on the top to anchor
I love mustard.
to
That's
anchor
my
the other
favorite
toppings. So
condiment.
that
Yep.
way, when you bite in, you've got the cheese gluing down the tomatoes and the stuff. You get, there's some,
I know,
there's some
you're
science
getting
to
excited,
burgers.
aren't you? You
That's
don't normally
super
eat on
cool.
Chit Chat Shop.
I don't.
I can tell you're
I
like,
didn't. I don't usually.
I
eat
like
mine.
this.
All
This
right.
is good.
I don't think you've ever had
I
a
didn't-
Betty.
I have a couple. I usually
Have you?
There we
usually
go.
don't.
He
I
usually
also
doesn't.
usually don't learn anything. 'cause
Those
I'm
are
usually doing
pickled
this.
onions.
I
We
learn-
do pickled red onions here because we find red onions, or onions in general that are raw, are very harsh.
It can be super harsh.
It can
If
be
you like
super
grill
harsh.
them a little bit,
Yes.
that's a good thing. Like if you're in front of the barbecue, you can throw half of your toppings on the
Yes.
grill with your barbecue.
100%.
Yep. Where's my spatula? Here we go. All right, let's lift it up.
that.
So,
Look at that.
just because I have a bit of a burger sense, I like to squeeze it like this.
Oh, just
I-
like a steak.
Just like a steak. I can tell that's about a medium well, so it's got a thin band of pink, but no rawness in the middle. You're in for a treat, bud. All right, there we go.
I love
And
it.
here.
I love it.
This is your turn. You get to put it on.
Okay.
Here, I'll
Yeah,
hold.
hold
There you
this.
go.
Oh.
Whoa, and it goes. The burger shift.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, there.
I love
There
it.
we go. Lovely.
Look at
Oh
that.
my God,
Look at that.
stop it.
Gorgeous. All right,
Okay.
let's flip the tops. And there we go.
Faster.
Oh, I
Master.
didn't put the other stuff
Oh, you didn't
on.
put the other stuff
I
on.
didn't.
Andrew.
It's my first time on Chit Chat Shop. I'm sorry. All
So
right.
those are dills. I got dills for that,
Nice.
and then tomatoes.
Dills are great.
I'm
I
not a
really
sweet
like,
relish person.
I was gonna say I really like an acidic pickle because it cuts through the
Yeah,
richness of
I
the
agree
meat.
with you.
You got to have that balance. Gives you a little bit of crunch. Throw potato chips on this. That's a little barbecue hack. Oh, that's good.
Potato chips.
Potato chips.
That's a dad thing as well. Dad. used to-
Yeah, I would have.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Dad.
See, I'm vibing your dad tonight. This
Yeah,
is great.
you are.
There we go. So we got our
Oh, I
tomatoes
need
on
a
there.
fork for your mac and cheese. Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
Cool.
All right, burgers are up.
Oh, do we want to
So
cut
I
one
need-
open just?
Yeah,
to
we do.
see?
Yeah, cut one open. Then I'm gonna take
Yeah,
a
we
picture of
do.
the other one after we're over, and then I jam this in.
Here, so you need to cut it so we can all taste it.
I'd love to try to cut. I can't do the fractions of cutting a burger into 5.
Okay, open it up. Open it up.
Oh, so
look
look at
at
that. We got that juiciness, just a little bit
Little
of
pink. It's beautiful.
But that fat, you can see the fat kept all the meat nice and hot. The sear initially kept some of that in,
Yeah.
and also kept it nice and moist. So
Look at that.
Oh my gosh,
Look at that.
stop.
we're gonna enjoy that.
Stop it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So where did you learn all this stuff about burgers?
A lot of independent research.
Independent research.
Independent
I love
research.
it. Oh,
I'd say 10 or 11 years ago, I went to New York on a trip with. I had a friend who was a musician who was down there doing some lessons for the month.
you ate at Shake Shack every day?
And we ate at Shake Shack a lot. But we went to there's this place called the Parker Meridian that's known as having like got this little hole in the wall off the lobby.
Yeah.
Fantastic burger joint.
Fantastic
Celebrities sign the
burgers.
wall and everything. Super cool. Shake Shack I've sort of been obsessed with. So that inspired, like a lot of the things I've done before with different meats and cuts that you put into the meat, because the different cuts of meat you put in totally
Really
flavor
impact the
grind.
flavor, yeah.
So if you're ever at the grocery store, you see a really nice ribeye steak and you see some boneless short rib, get them to grind it for you, and you've got an amazing burger
burger.
mix. It might cost a little bit more, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of burger eating. I'm a fan. So it's
I love
it's
it.
been a lot of research.
I love it. I love it.
You were nervous meeting the first time. You're gonna come back.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Definitely.
It's pretty fun.
You're okay?
Yeah, we got this.
You're good? Okay. So, yeah, I'm not going to, I don't know how to segue this, but I'm just going to segue
Say
it.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to,
So,
go. She's interrupting me. She's like, no, Daddy, do it.
This is a crucial moment.
This is
I
a
don't know,
crucial
Andrew,
moment.
Like, where have
So,
you spent
I
the
mean,
last little while of your career?
Where were you today?
Yeah, well, today it was actually my last day at Two Doors Down, where I've been working with the ECD restaurant
9
for the
years.
past
Woo! That's
9 years,
Woo!
which is
We're super
pretty
excited,
crazy.
yeah.
I've had an amazing time there. I've had great staff and just had the time of my life there. And it's sort of gone its course. There's a lot of talent working its way up through the ranks, so
Yeah.
I've got to make some room. So, I thought you guys have anything going on?
Yeah. Well, I
what's
think we
up?
do. I think we do. And
Yeah.
so what's the dealio?
Well, I like food. I like to share that with other people. Is there maybe a way we could, coordinate that?
Yeah, I
or-
think so. What's your start date again?
Start date, how about July 3rd?
July 3rd.
Yeah.
July 3rd!
Right.
Woo-hoo! Raise the roof! Andrew Farrell is in house, Chef Andrew Farrell, and oh my God, I'm so excited. We're so excited to have Andrew on because he's not only going to come on and do all these awesome things that he did tonight, but he's also going to take over our culinary instruction, which I have to say has been really great because I've been teaching a lot of classes.
We give her a little break.
And Patty needs a little break from that.
Yeah.
And then also just coming in and supporting the kitchen and we're just super excited.
I-
The whole team is excited.
I love a great team atmosphere, and from the moment I walked in the door, I just felt a great
Yeah.
kinship of vibe, if that can be a thing.
Which
I don't
is
know.
awesome.
It
We're
is
super
now. It is
excited.
now.
Yeah, it's a thing
Hashtag.
now.
Hashtag,
Yeah.
hashtag kinship of vibe. We're gonna have very complicated hashtags
It's
now in
fine.
kitchen door catering
It's
between all
fine.
of us. So this was just Andrew's last day at Two Doors Down. He's gonna take a little bit of a stay vacation, which is awesome. He gets a bit of a break, and then after Canada Day, you're gonna start on with us, which we're super stoked about. And the
I'm
only
actually pretty. I'm pretty lucky that I wanted burgers, and there's not many people in the city that makes a burger better than you.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
I think-
seriously, this is talk about the stars
when I was
aligning.
like, oh my gosh, he's coming, I'm totally gonna have to up my burger game because I was like totally gonna have ground meat, and I'm like, no, I gotta grind my own meat. I gotta do the whole thing. No, it worked out really, really, really well. So we are super excited. We're just thrilled, and the whole team is, and we're also thrilled for all things Adam.
Yes, thank you for having me, and appreciate.
This is just the beginning of all things
I'm
awesome.
so grateful to be here because when you meet people and within 2 seconds you get, just like you said, you felt you walk in here, you guys have something special here, and I'm just
Yeah.
grateful to be
Thank
here.
you.
Share that vibe for us.
Share the
Share the vibe.
vibe with
Share the
your
vibe.
tribe.
And what's really
Exactly.
cool is you're also going to be guest hosting next week, are you? not?
Absolutely.
Yay! Woo!
Yep, they're trusting me. I'm not gonna go crazy.
I
with
have
it.
a meeting, so I cannot be here.
Yep. So I'll be on. Can we say who's the guest?
Yes,
can totally say,
absolutely.
oh, yeah,
All right.
100%.
It's my friend Chef Mark Gray from The Watch That Ends the Night. So
Yeah.
Mark, I'm looking at you, buddy. We're gonna have a great time next week.
Great
Yes.
time. I'm
Great
super,
time.
super, super stoked. I can't.
Yep.
It'll be different to watch from behind the camera again. Like,
I know.
yeah. Anyway, no. So that's it. That's a wrap. We went overtime, but we don't care.
We don't care.
45
It's fine.
minutes.
Overtime,
you all
great
watched.
time.
Great
So
time.
awesome.
Overtime. Chef
Any
Andrew.
last questions or
Adam.
anything?
Any
Nothing?
last questions? Any more comments that we need to answer before we?
I think we touched on all of them, really. Your husband said eggs on burgers. I didn't acknowledge that.
Ted said that.
Yeah.
Ted doesn't like eggs on burgers.
He throws there. He's like, someone.
I know. One night he got home. He's like, I had all these awesome comments, and nobody even answered me. And I'm like, yeah, no wonder, because you keep throwing this stuff out.
Hilarious.
It's amazing.
I
I was on
people
fire.
that we're gonna put burger night in our culinary schedule.
Yes, we
Yes.
had a burger night before, like
Yeah.
2
High
or 3
demand.
years ago on High Demand, and we did a burger and beer tasting. But this is definitely going, and that's one of the things that I'm super stoked about is that we're gonna have lots of new ideas from a class perspective and from a kitchen door event perspective. We're gonna do some awesome dinners and some awesome.
And why go out
there's-
for dinner when you can learn to make it here?
Exactly. So we're super thrilled. So that's a wrap. Next week, Chef Andrew,
We're all right. You know what you
Mark
want.
Ray from The Watch That Ends the Night. They're the two people here behind the camera or in front of the camera. And
I'll be
then
over there. And who's coming? You're not here next week? It's Ginger, right?
she might come every week because she gets a glass,
She gets a glass of wine.
So she gets really excited. I get one glass of wine and cha-cha-cha. And then Friday, 10:30,
Social
Halifax
media
Social Media
day.
Halifax.
We're gonna have.
I say it wrong every time. Halifax Social Media
Well,
Day,
basically,
Social
we're
Media
gonna talk about the
Halifax.
show. We're gonna say what happened. We're gonna give some tips, and then we also have some special guests there as well,
We
right?
do have special guests, and we
Virtual.
have a special surprise, which we're
I can't
we're
handle
super
all the
excited.
surprises.
I
right?
know
It's
we're all about
surprise.
surprises, which is not my
Surprise.
forte, but I'm rolling with it. And so you've watched the show all the way to the end.
Yep.
You've watched the show
That's
all
the
the way to the
first
end.
time someone's, I think, said they watched the whole show.
All right, so we have 3 of us,
You ready?
and we have to do it.
You have to count us
5
down.
times
3,
fast.
2, 1. All
You have
right?
to go. Alina has to go.
What are we doing?
Chit-chat 5 times fast.
Oh, okay, I got this.
Okay,
All right.
ready? Come on, you got it. You got it. You got it. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Chit-chat,
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 chit-chat.
chit-chat.
Ah! You did it!